Hey guys, SoCal Val here. You are listening to the Hitting the Turnbuckle podcast.
Welcome everybody back to the Hitting the Turnbuckle podcast. I am your host, Adam Cousins. And first off, I need to apologize to anyone that watches this show. As you probably guessed, I did mention this over the last few weeks. I have got some kind of chest infection, maybe a touch of bronchitis. I don't know. I'm getting new antibiotics, but it's at the moment, I'm still suffering a little bit. So I will try and die quietly on any podcast that we do. Thankfully today, I do have a foundation of NWA knowledge with me as we're reviewing last night's or this morning, depending on whenever you watched it, NWA Powerr the week before NWA 75. And of course, if it's NWA, that only means one thing. It's Fiona.
Hello. I'm sorry you're still feeling rubbish, but I hope you're okay.
Well, I am on holiday in Cornwall seeing my family, so that takes the sting away from a little bit of a sting away from coughing my guts up every so often during some point. The weird thing is it comes and goes. I can be fine for hours and then it will just kick it or something. I'll drink something or I'll talk. Sometimes when I talk, I inhale and it's this big and it's just crazy.
Lovely.
So hopefully that won't happen during the show. But if it does, it does. And I'll try and mute my mic before. Before we get onto it, we're a week away from 75. How excited is one?
Oh, I'm very, very excited. The card is shaping up to be so good. Obviously, there's still a load of matches that haven't been announced, but what has been announced so far, I am buzzing for. Special props to, and I have to say it, and I'm almost loath to say it, I am so excited for Joe Alonzo versus Homicide. If anyone has no idea what I'm talking about, please, please, please go and check out Joe Alonzo's Twitter page. His promos have been incredible. And Nelson was probably going to kill him next weekend, to be honest with you. Oh, I'm so excited. He's totally got me buzzing for this match.
It was an amazing promo. I did see it. I saw you comment on something saying about being ballsy. So I had to watch, and then I got the gist of why. And it was an incredible promo. And one thing, if you have a wrestling,
why would you do that? It's Homicide. Why?
You know they say you don't tug on Superman's cape. You don't piss off Homicide.
No.
It's like committing you're in trouble, Joe. I'm sorry.
I think. Yeah, ballsy. That's what I said, and that's what I stand by. You're a brave man, Mr. Alonzo.
You are indeed.
Brave man.
Very, very brave indeed. I wouldn't want to be in your shoes come 75, my friend. As I said, we're a week away. This is 2 tapings left. Well, 1 taping left now.
Yeah.
75. But obviously last night's one. And as usual with Powerr, it just goes straight in. There was no messing around.
No hanging about. Straight in with the action, straight from the start. I love it.
The Southern Six, Kerry, Morton, and Alex Taylor with obviously the Thrillbilly, funnily enough, against Joe and our good friend Colby Corino. Really strong opening tag match. I really enjoyed this one. Lovely bit of old school tagging as well. It obviously ended up with the Southern Six getting the victory in the end, which obviously gives Kerry a little bit of a advantage. You could call it a little bit of advantage going in 75.
I don't know. It was nice to see him and Colby have a little kind of tussle because obviously they've got a match coming up at NWA 75. I can't remember whether it's night 1 or night 2. It might not even have been announced yet. But it was nice to see a little bit, see them kind of size each other up a little bit ahead of their fight. So
it really was.
It was a good opener, a good insight into what lies ahead, I think.
Probably insight to what lies ahead because Joe Alonzo got pinned, which he probably will. In a couple of weeks. Was it the finisher?
The green whistle.
Green whistle, thank you.
Green whistle by Alex Taylor, yeah. So
love that finisher. I love the name, green whistle. I always in London terms, a whistle is a soup. I used to call it whistle and flute. Is cockney rhyming slang for soup. I'm sure that's nothing to do with the finisher at all.
You never know.
I'm a London boy, so I have to get those little references in when I can. The next one, Wow.
Wow.
Yeah, yeah. We
Just
kind of both said that.
wow. I don't
Um,
think I've ever seen two big guys in the ring together like that for a very long time. I think we're harking back to Kane and Big Show, or Undertaker and Kane days, because it was Talos versus Judias, and they are both giants of men.
they was. Talos actually beats Judias. But there was obviously a lot of shenanigans in this.
That's the perfect word for what happened towards the end of this match.
With Sal the Pal and Gags the Gimp. Now, the Gags his finisher is called the Gags Reflex. I mean, why?
Just don't. The less
Why?
I say about that, the better.
Why is it called that? That is like, I mean, NWA is like pushing the Attitude Era coming on here. Anyway, as you say, two big men slugging it out. Obviously, Sal the Pal come out, Gags the Gimp come out. Sal distracts the referee, Gags hit the finisher.
Waves the beach towel.
Where's the beach
It's
towel?
not even a white towel, it's a random beach towel. So
Crazy. I enjoy, but obviously Gags got his revenge a little bit from a couple of weeks back on Judias. So, we have to give him that. He needs to change that finisher, though. Or the name. He needs to change the name. We can't be saying that sort of stuff on this show. Crimes. We'd be taken off air. Crazy finisher. That does really take me back to the Attitude Era when it comes to, though, the crazy stuff. You used to have like Mae Young giving birth to a hand, and Christ.
Yeah, God, I forgot about that.
Yeah, I'm sorry about that. You have nightmares about that now. But now we got to deal with the Gags Reflex as a finisher.
Yeah.
Cheers,
I have so many questions and no answers when it comes
now,
to that.
Speaking of Billy Corgan, I just wanted to. He had an interview yesterday. I was keen to get your feelings on this.
With Chris Van Vliet, I can never say his name.
Chris Van Vliet, I think it was. And he said along the lines of he thinks that NWA is the next big promotion, or the next promotion to go big. What are your feelings on that? Because I like this, I don't say necessarily change isn't good. Maybe he's thinking of TV deals or whatever.
Mm-hmm.
But when you think if it's not broke, don't fix it.
Yeah.
And I'm kind of leaning towards that. But what did you think about what he said about the NWA is basically the next big promotion, or the next big promotion to explode?
So I didn't see all of the interview, but I did actually hear that part of it. And I know that he said he was like 6 years into a long-term plan that he's got for them to grow. I like this. I like the small shows. I like the hour-long shows. And I wouldn't like that to change, to be perfectly honest with you.
No.
I think there is some incredible talent in NWA that deserves to be on a larger stage than NWA can currently provide for them. Whether they can compete with the other large companies, or whether they can compete with WWE or AEW or Impact, remains to be seen. It would be great for the talent, for the roster to be on that level. I would love to say that it'll happen. I'm not entirely convinced it will, but I would like to see some growth. So if that's Billy's vision for the company going forward, then I'm looking forward to seeing what he does with it, because I genuinely do feel like it's a great product. I feel like the talent's great. And like I said, I feel like they deserve to be seen on a bigger, grander stage.
Yeah, they certainly do. And obviously, YouTube's a big stage in terms of anyone can get on it, but obviously sometimes you just can't beat that cable.
Yeah. I think unfortunately for NWA as well, given some of the current situation with them in terms of champions and things like that, they've had quite a lot of hate, and they've kind of been the laughing stock. Like, you see them post things and folk are like, oh, your product's this, your product's that, and a lot of it's not positive, because I just don't think people seem to give it a chance. And I think if people gave it a chance and actually took the time and made the effort to watch it, they would see that it is actually better than their perceived reality of it.
I agree with that, and obviously when you started watching it, and watched it through your posts and stuff. And again, I always say this with Impact: you have to strip back. It's not WWE. It's not AEW. They're not performing in front of thousands of people.
Yeah, they don't have the budget. They don't have the production behind it.
And saying that video from the EC3 one was probably one of the best ones I've seen all year.
Yeah,
so they can do things like that on the budget. But I agree. I think just some people just scoff at it because you see this on YouTube and it's like it's like going into an indie show too.
Yeah, absolutely. And they see it as an old school fed, so to speak. And it's like, oh, you should have stayed in the dark ages or whatever. And you're like, people do need to move with the times. The territory days were great. And if you look back at the old stuff from NWA, back when you had Ric Flair, even before all that, Buddy Rogers, I don't even know where to start. Like the history behind NWA is so wide and so huge and so storied that I think people forget that. I think a lot of the fans now only really know it from the Lightning One era, from when Powerr started, and then obviously COVID came along and kind of stopped everything. And while other companies were maybe continuing to operate and put on shows, NWA didn't. So I think they get a hard time, and I really just wish people would give them a chance, basically.
Yeah, sometimes the hard time is unjust, and I do feel in this case that it certainly is unjust. People need to start watching that. We said this before, their talent crew, they've got an amazing talent roster. I always say they've got a mixture of the young talent, old talent, talents that have got, I always believe have got points to prove, hey, look, they've probably even got some of the chip on their shoulder. But look, that's the whole point. The people at the back, the producers, they've got so much experience there, which is what they've done so well, is that they've got this core sort of old, the older guys producing the show with a mixture of, like I just said, of the talent there. And I'm going to get onto one of them in a minute, actually. There's so much there to like that if you actually just sat there and watched it, you would really understand what we said. And you say, if you are a WWE fan, you've grown up watching WWE, strip back the fact it's not in front of 11,000 people. It's probably in front of a couple of hundred. Strip it back. Yeah, okay, it's still 80s or the late 80s, but that was what made NWA so good in the 80s. It was that intimate setting, stage to the left. I've said this before, but just give it that an opportunity, and whatever Billy's got plans for, let's see. I'm kind of with you. If it's not broke, don't fix it. But obviously, they do want to grow, and by growing, they can extend the audience. If that then gives them more budget, they can bring in more talent. But they're still getting talent in, like Matt Cardona, who's coming in at 75.
Exactly, he's coming back next weekend, so still don't know who his challenger is, so that'll be fun.
We don't. Anyway, let's crack back on with Powerr. May Valentine interviewed Tom Latimer, and he was saying, "Look, I don't care who wins the championship because I'm cashing in my television championship for the shot."
I think he has one more match, I think, for his Lucky 7 series. I think one more defense, I think, if I remember rightly, and then he can cash in and he can go for.
And he doesn't care who the 7th title defense is going to be.
Nope.
Against, basically, he's going to win that, and then he's going to cash in on whoever wins at 75 between EC3 and Tyrus. But he is teaming with Chris Adonis. Now, we sort of said about this talent with a point to prove, underrated, underutilized talent.
Yeah.
Chris Adonis exemplifies that.
Oh, absolutely. 100%.
So he's teaming with him next week, and they basically promised they're going to run through the opposition.
Yeah, they've got the Crockett Cup winners. They've got Knox and Murdoch.
They're not really going to run through them, are they?
Oh, you never know. It's 4 big men in the ring going for it again. So
they're big, but Knox and Murdoch are slightly bigger, I would say. And then, of course, our good friend Danny Dills hosted another
the DLZ.
The DLZ.
I love it. He cracks me up. I love the vibe of that little segment every week.
It is fantastic.
A little insight into what's coming up on the show and what's coming up next week as well. So it's good. Exactly. And there's normally a little cameo from somebody. So
it was, and it was another great one. Magic Inc. Jake Dumas.
That's exciting for me personally.
Yes, against AJ and Natalia Markova.
Yeah,
Really good match.
interesting combination, interesting tag team combination to have put AJ and Markova together. But
Yeah.
the good part for me was actually seeing what CJ could do in the ring, because she's been around for so long in NWA. She's accompanied Jake to the ring and she's on all the time, and it's like, surely she's got some sort of skill more than just looking pretty and presenting other people. So that was really fun for me to watch last night.
Yeah, I like this one. As you say, interesting combinations, but a really good mixed tag match, which Magic Inc.
Yeah.
Quite surprisingly, in my opinion, I was going to go with AJ and Natalia when I first saw it. They announced it before how the matches that were coming on, and I was looking at that thinking, I fancy it. It was an interesting combination, but I like the pairing of AJ and Natalia Markova.
Yeah, absolutely. It was unexpected. I remember looking at it going, okay, that's an interesting one, but I think they worked well together.
They did. Maybe she can join this, Southern Gentlemen.
You never know. No, I don't know.
No,
I think she's got more important things to worry about at the moment.
I do as well.
Like meeting Kamille next weekend.
We're going to get onto Kamille as well very, very shortly. May Valentine interviewed Eric Jackson. He says that he is him. Sounded a bit like Carmelo Hayes from NXT when he said that. But then he said next week he's going to wake everybody up that's been sleeping on him.
I don't doubt it for a second. I have had the pleasure of watching him wrestle at the tapings before, and he is a talented little guy. He really is. I like watching his work.
He is a very good talent, and I'm going to be interested to see who he's going to be taking aim at.
Well, he's teaming with Fodder next weekend. So, but I don't know who their tag team opponents are. But Fodder and Eric Jackson together, again, a kind of almost a random pairing. But I think that could be, and obviously you're likely going to have Angelina Love at the ringside with them as well if Fodder's there. So I don't know. That would be fun to see.
It will be. So Magic King got the victory anyway in that particular.
Yeah, so I know we didn't even talk about that.
Yes,
I was going to say we didn't even discuss that. CJ, wow, CJ can wrestle. Who knew?
Yeah, she had some great moves in her arsenal there, did CJ.
She really did.
One of them ones that sit there and you think, hang on a minute, what, you can do this? Because you say she's always been the one that's been presenting to people, not getting physical.
And she's interfered slightly the last few weeks. You've seen her ringside, a little face slap here or there or whatever. But she did have some moves last night. So
she's got the moves like Jagger, as the song would say.
I would quite like to see her in a singles match now, actually, just to see what she's really capable of.
Maybe we will. So we've gone past the Eric Jackson bit. Kamille and Kylie Paige.
I get all 800 days. Boom. Yes.
No, it was non-title, obviously.
Kamille.
Yes, very much. Congratulations on your 800-day reign so far. Yeah. Kylie Paige, no slouch. Really, I must say that, I will say this because segueing a little bit to Raw, they had Becky and Trish, and for me, it just didn't work. The match was, in my opinion, I'm not by any means, I'm not a wrestling scout, or I'm not Meltzer, for argument's sake. I don't give star ratings. For me, the match didn't work. This epitomized what I want from women's wrestling, right there. Brilliant match. Kamille picks up the win and goes obviously on to 75 with Markova. She's obviously got coming up. What a great match this was.
Women's division yet again in NWA. Stop sleeping on it, people.
Yes, but people are saying book women better. Watch NWA. That's where the women get booked, right?
Yeah.
Unbelievable match. Really, Camille's just she is on another level.
She is indeed, but Kylie, she's what, 21 years old? Like, she's so young. Not that Kamille isn't, not that Camille's old, but Kylie, I think she's only 20, 21, if that. She might even be younger. To have that much talent at that age and to get signed as well is just, it's superb. But Camille's spear is something I'm fearful of, and I think anyone on the receiving end of that really doesn't stand much of a chance.
No, and we all know what spears can do in wrestling. We've seen them, but Kamille's one is very, very special.
It's up there with one of the best ones in the business across the board, no matter who we're talking about.
It is. It is very special. I love her spear. After that, May Valentine interviewed the Crocky Cup winners we already mentioned. Murdoch and Knox, they've got their shot. Night 2. We don't know who the tag team champions will be.
No, that's a big question mark hanging over them, which I think could potentially be quite frustrating for them. I think it's nice to know who your opponents are in advance rather than having to hang about and wait and see.
Yeah. You've really got 2 different kinds of opponents, haven't you, here? BFT, sorry, BLF, a big friendly giant. BFT, blunt force trauma, carnage and damage, or you've got the clowns.
Yep.
Or
you've got La Rebellion, so.
Or you've got La Rebellion. Sorry, I forgot about that. Hang on a minute.
Yeah.
Why did I just say the clowns? Night 1 is blunt force trauma and clowns, right? Or is it
against? Yeah, and then. No, I've totally forgotten what's going on now. I'm lost. You know, there's been so much going on that I'm absolutely lost. That's terrible.
Hold on, everybody. Let me just check.
That's really bad.
That's bad for us.
I need to have a look at this now and find out what's happening.
We need to sort this out because that ain't good. So it is blunt force trauma versus La Rebellion, Night 1.
Okay.
I don't know where the clowns come into it.
For the tag team belts.
Night 1 is blunt force trauma. Yeah, La Rebellion, blunt force trauma for the tag belts. And then the Crocky Cup winners have them on Night 2.
Okay. So the Crockett Cup winners, so Knox and Murdoch have got a championship match, or the clowns?
Knox and Murdoch.
On Night 2. I've got the
winners of La Rebellion or blunt force trauma.
So they've got a tag title match then. Okay.
They're the clowns.
Where did Ruffalo and Yabo come from? Because I'm sure they had a match.
They do, against to be announced.
Because
love
they're
that team name,
out.
To be announced. What a great team name that is.
That totally confused me there. I'm so sorry, everyone. I got
I'm blaming my chest infection on that. That was my bad.
It's all right.
Yeah. So there we go. That is what's going on. Anyway, Kamille, great promo.
That was a good promo from her as well. Yeah, really good promo. I'm hyped for that match.
That match is going to be amazing.
And Stella, if she beats Markova, who's next?
Does she beat Markova though?
We'll see. Like, I don't know. I think if she does win over Markova, though, I really don't know who's left. I suppose one of the Paige sisters, but I don't really know who else is on the roster that could really take her out and could really actually go for it. I think at one point I thought Taya Valkyrie might have been.
Yeah, she's in.
But obviously she's gone on to pastures new and she's doing really well as far as I'm aware.
I wouldn't say well. That's up for debate, but yeah.
Fair enough.
Yeah.
So I don't know. I really don't know. I think Markova's hungry. They've had a few matches already, so they know each other fairly well in the ring. But again, that's night 1, I think, potentially. I don't know if it's been announced what night it is yet, but I think that's night 1. I think that's Saturday night. I'm not 100% certain, no.
No, it's night 2.
Is that all right? Okay.
Yeah.
Okay.
Oh no, sorry. This is me. Sorry. It's night 1. They face whoever wins that faces the Burke International Invitational Gauntlet winner on night 2.
Okay. So the Gauntlet's night 1 and the Women's Championship match is night 1 and then
the winner of them.
Right. No, okay, got you.
God, we're getting confused as hell on this program tonight.
It's been a long day, honestly.
It's been a long day.
My kids went back to school this morning, so I've been up since the
Christmas. Blimey, that's early.
They broke up in June, but that's a whole different story.
Is that a Scottish thing?
Yeah.
Okay, my boy goes back in September. Anyway, move swiftly on. Main event. We mentioned
tag team action. More tag team action. I love tag team wrestling.
More tag team action. Blunt force trauma, Carnage damage, EC3, Jordan Clearwater. Big win for BFT, really. Considering EC3's going for the championship. I kind of would have thought EC3 may have picked up the win on this, but they didn't.
I thought it was a fairly even competition
It was.
to begin with.
Yeah, it really was. But BFT, well, I suppose they're the tag team, right? In that,
Yeah.
So you kind of have to give them. I suppose you give them the advantage of being the tag.
They've been tagging for a little while now. They probably know each other fairly well. I think for EC3 and Jordan Clearwater to get together like that, they may be not quite so cohesive and maybe not quite sure of each other's abilities and strong points and things like that. It was hard for me to see past BFT on this one, to be honest with you.
When you look at it that way, BFT, experienced tag team, Clearwater and EC3, not an experienced tag team, kind of makes more sense with BFT. Yeah. I just thought EC3 because he's going against Tyrus. He needs the momentum going into. Maybe he's wrestling next week. I don't know.
Who knows? Because we don't have a card for next week at all, apart from a couple of matches.
And we don't. And the guy's shirt or shorts behind you will also be. Will also may have something to do with next week. I know it's on commentary, but obviously he's got a big match at 75.
And he's got a big match next weekend against Jax. That's a no DQ match.
Yep.
Good luck, boys.
Well, good luck.
I'll be watching that one like that.
Yeah, I will certainly be looking forward to watching that one. It was another solid episode of Powerr again. I don't think any week so far has been any. They've always kept us entertained. Sometimes they've left us with more questions than answers. Sometimes they've answered those questions and then moved on. It's been a really good flowing season so far.
It has.
Tape-ins after the pay-per-view.
So there's tape-ins on the Monday and Tuesday. So they're leaving St. Louis and they're going back to Nashville to the Skyway Studios in Nashville for the tape-ins. And who knows what that will bring? Obviously, all the fallout from 75. Yeah. But what I will say, what's that?
Will Tyrus retire? Will he be retired?
Who knows? We might see multiple new champions next weekend. But what I will say is this road to NWA 75 has been brilliant. It's been exciting. There's been twists, there's been turns, and it's not over yet. I'm really excited to see what happens next week. Obviously we've got a show in between. I think the Boca Raton show is airing on Saturday. Last Saturday before Powerr was the HP Cares for Cooper show. I haven't seen it all yet, my bad, but I really, really enjoyed that. So I'm looking forward to seeing the rest of that as well. But yeah, I think the whole road to NWA 75 so far has just been outstanding, and I have loved the ride so far.
It has been a fantastic road to 75. We've got one more week left, or one more Powerr tape left before 75, and we will get into that next week. Guys, I made it through. I did have a few issues, but I muted my mic in time. We've been confused during this show. I think the gag reflex thing threw me. I think that's the thing, the gag reflex. That killed the whole show. And it certainly made me lose my marbles a little bit through trying to get the matches remembered for 75. But guys, this has been a fun. Well, I don't know what we can call this one. It's
been an interesting ride.
It's been an interesting ride on this show, guys. But thank you for watching the NWA Powerr review. She's been Fiona Loughran. I've been Adam Cousins. And we will be back next week on the final stop to NWA. Hopefully, I'll have cleared up a little bit better by then. But until then, everybody, buckle down, stay safe, and goodbye.